imagine yourself being already overwhelmed, and then you look at the 200 unanswered emails that you have, and 50 voice messages that you never listen, and also the to-do list that is longer than your life. And then you ask yourself that question, why am I doing it for? What and who am I proving? I've been there before. So I'm an immigrant that always tried to prove that I can fit in. I have a very ambitious father that always wanted me to prove that I can be better and stronger. And I'm also an entrepreneur that likes challenges and I like to prove. But at some point in my life, I realized that all that proving was creating a lot of suffering and pain. And I also realized that I swallowed someone else's ambitions. They were not mine. So then, at that time, I found a magical elixir. And for me, it was travel. But it wasn't just travel. It was travel for perspective. It was travel with open heart, and it was travel when I was vulnerable and I was ready to learn. So 7 years ago, I opened an event production company called Alicja Events. And is there anyone in the room who owns a company or knows anyone who owns one? Right, so you can relate a little bit more. So you probably know that starting a company, especially starting from scratch, is almost like having a baby. That was at least for me. So I gave it all my time, all attention, everything that I had, and it was amazing because it was my dream, so it was giving me a lot of contentment. But at some point, I started to realize that I forgot about myself, I forgot about people around me, I was getting sick a lot. And on one hand, the company was growing pretty fast, but on the other hand, I was disappearing slowly as a person. Until one day, I remember it very clearly. I was driving in Colorado because I was going to spend New Year's in Aspen, and it was snowing pretty heavily. And my friend Edita, who's a Polish lady, probably this high, curly hair, lots of energy, she called me and she asked, Alicja, do you want to go to India with me? And I said, without even thinking, absolutely yes. And India was really tempting to me all the time, but there was something mysterious about the country ruled by the cows. So 2 months after her call, myself, Edita, and 2 other Polish girlfriends, Selina and Renata, we were ready to go to India. Also my brother who lives in Poland, he tagged along. When we got to India, the cultural difference shocked me. If I was going to describe India in one word, I would use intense. India was loud, India was smelly, there were cow droppings all over, pushy salespeople that wanted to sell you on anything that they had, and cars beeping that never seemed to stop. However, a couple days after my trip to India, being in India, something changed. The external chaos stopped existing, and I started becoming very relaxed and calm. And it was because of the people that we met there. They were welcoming, they were nice, but first of all, they were very content with what they had. And we live in such a civilized country, like the United States, but I feel like the more we have, we always want more and more and more. So a couple days in India, we decided to travel from north to the south. So from New Delhi, we went to Varanasi. And for those of you who don't know India, Varanasi is an amazing city. It's actually called, by the Ganga River, it's called City of Death because they burn bodies all day and night long. But at the same time, it has this charm and energy, and it's pretty amazing. Actually, Mark Twain wrote that Varanasi is older than life, older than culture, and older than legend. So in Varanasi, we decided to go to the temples, and I remember it very clearly. It was Monkey Temple. So in India, when you go to the temple, you have to take your shoes off, and it's one of my pet peeves because my feet are always cold. So I went there with barefoot, and I started shivering because it was so cold. But at some point, I could feel this burst of energy and that heat going up my feet and to my stomach and then to my heart. And I stopped and I was paralyzed, and I could feel tears going down my cheeks. because I understood that something just changed. I could feel that warmth in my heart that I never did before, and I knew that the suffering that I've had before is slowly disappearing. So after Varanasi, we went to Bangalore, which is south of India, and we decided to do a ritual called Homa. Homa is just to describe, you sit in front of the fire pit and you chant mantras and you burn your karma. So myself and my brother Andy, he's sitting next to me, and we burn the karma and we do the Homa. And at the same time, we started crying. It was a burst of tears, and we didn't know what's happening, but it was so real and so emotional. And after talking to him, we both realized that we were proving we swallowed someone else's ambitions, and we decided that moment that we were going to change our lives. So 3.5 weeks later, I came back to the United States, and guess what? Chicago was still here. My work was still here. Nothing really changed. The only thing that changed was myself. I changed my values. I changed my belief system. I changed as a person, and I decided to live my life differently. So the amazing elixir that I can recommend to everyone is to travel, but to travel for perspective, travel with an open heart, be vulnerable, and be open to lessons that you receive. Thank you.
All right, excellent job.